What's up, nature freaks?
What's going on?
Dave and Jeremy here, back in the Eco Lair. First thing we'd like to do is wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. It is that time of the year again.
Yeah, and speaking of a year, we started this channel 10 months ago. That was our first video. Hasn't even been a complete year. Thank you guys for all the support that you've given us. If you've already subscribed, you're awesome. If not, what are you waiting on? Get on it. So we appreciate you guys' support. We're going to continue to create content, pump out some videos.
Nature in your face!
So now when you think about the holidays, you tend to think about packages, boxes, bags. Well, today we're going to be talking about a group of animals that kind of are born or hatched with their own built-in packages.
That's right. And so inside of these boxes are turtles. What kind of turtles would be inside of a box? What do you think, Dave?
I don't know. A box turtle?
I think you're right. Yeah. So let's get them out. And let's play with these animals and check out some awesome box turtles.
Awesome. All right.
Oh, man. They're ready to go.
Beautiful. Look at these guys.
One. I've got two over here.
All right.
I must have been a better boy than you.
Hey, you must have. All right, so we'll just start out with three turtles here.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Slow down. These guys
up.
are faster than you think.
Back it up. Not this guy.
So all three of these are eastern box turtles. Common U.S. species found throughout the eastern United States. They love water. I mean, if you don't know that about box turtles, these guys will get into water. They'll soak. They can even swim. They're crazy for water.
Now, interestingly, even though they're water turtles, they are not aquatic. These are land turtles, more like a tortoise would be. So even though they love water, they are not like your painted turtles or your cooters or your sliders, which are also found in the same range that you'd find a box turtle.
Yeah, speaking of tortoise, a lot of people mistake these for tortoises because they have the higher dome shell, but they are not tortoises. They're omnivores, so they're going to eat everything from plants to dead animals, insects. You show one of these things a bug, it's like a ninja.
Yeah,
Just
they
freaks
destroy.
out.
Yeah, another interesting thing is they tend to be more carnivorous as juveniles, and as they mature, they tend to then switch to more of an herbivore diet. And I was reading something very interesting. I don't know if you ever heard this, but people eat these in the South, and people have been getting very sick because these turtles eat poisonous mushrooms. The mushrooms get into the animal's body. People consume the meat, and people are getting very sick. Just kind of a weird thing. Who would eat a box turtle?
Did you reference me because I'm from the South?
I
So
did.
I probably would have heard of some toothless guy chewing on a turtle.
Right?
Oh, I don't know anyone.
I tried to do that subtly.
That's right. So some of these turtles have some very interesting history. All of these are wild caught. We did not collect them, but since we do animal shows, we do take in rescues. People call us up all the time. Hey, I just saved this animal. I rescued it from its own home.
Yeah, right.
But no. So this box turtle right here, this is Boxy. All right. Boxy was named by a child. Okay. So Boxy was found crossing a highway. All right. Boxy had left the safety of her forest, cruising across the highway, cars zipping by. Freaking out. Now, why? Why would you leave your comfortable home, Boxy? Because Boxy here is a female, and she was full of eggs. She was collected, saved off the highway, brought to us, and she laid 4 eggs. Amazing. Generation to come. Now, the downside to that, we do not know where she came from, the forest-wise, so she has to remain in captivity for her own safety and not re-released.
Now, how do we know that's a female other than the fact that it laid eggs? There are some easy ways to tell the differences between a male and a female eastern box turtle. Now, I don't know how well you can see this. Will probably get you a better zoomed in shot, but if you look at the male, he has bright red eyes. The female that Jeremy's holding has a very dull, kind of brown.
Here, we got a camera here. Hold him over here.
Hold him over here, yeah.
There you go. Check that out.
Now another.
What's up, everybody?
As if that wasn't easy enough, if you flip the turtles up, the males have a concave shell, at least more concave. The females have only a slightly concave shell, and it's more flat. But you can definitely tell the difference when you compare them. So females, a little bit smaller than the males. Males also have longer claws in the front, so
She's
you can't tell the differences.
Very outgoing turtle.
All right, so
This is one of the weirdest wild-caught box turtles, though, because there's like no fear in this turtle. You can pet its head. I don't know how it survived this long. It would have just walked up to a predator and been like, "What's up?"
Now, speaking of protecting themselves with a shell, all turtles obviously have a shell, but what makes these turtles unique and the other ones that we have is the fact that not only do they have a shell that they can kind of tuck their arms, head, legs, and tail into, they also have hinges on their shell, which gives them the ability to completely close themselves in. Predators cannot get them. You cannot stick a knife blade into the shell. It closes so tightly. It's that great a protection for these
That's
animals.
kind of a violent comparison.
Yeah, well, it's true.
That's why they're called box turtles, because they can close up. Just like we opened the box and closed it, the box turtles, they can close completely up.
Now, I'm not going to take the credit for this because Jeremy found this on one of his excursions looking for critters in the forest in his hometown in Florida, in the Panhandle, where he's from. And he found a shell of a Gulf Coast box turtle. Now, they get larger than the eastern box turtle. They're similar in appearance. This is obviously not alive. These scoots here, made of keratin, they eventually, when they die, shed, and you can actually see the bone underneath. The shell is made of bone, and then you've got these plates of keratin here. So, yeah, we'll show you
That's
that.
our zoom in camera. So flip it over and
Right. But I wanted to show you, look how tight that is. Now, we did put some glue there just because it was kind of falling apart. So that shiny stuff is, it's not guts or liquid. It's not anything coming out of the turtle. This thing's been gone for a long time. But anyway, you can see how tight, you see that? How tightly closed that thing is, not only in the front, but also in the back. So if you're a predator, you might toy with this thing. You might play with it, throw it up in the air, flip it over. But ultimately, you're not getting inside to the meat. This is why these things are so successful in the wild.
yeah, and the beauty of this turtle here, the one that obviously has gone away and we can close the shell, is these turtles don't necessarily want to go in. Look at this wild caught. I'm going to touch her little head. She's not going to go in the shell. I can even give her a little tap. Nothing. And they're just not going to get as tight as we can show you with this shell right here.
Well,
So
this one
that's
might.
really
Here's
cool.
why. This one was more recently caught. It was injured. It's actually blind in its right eye here. And I didn't know that until I noticed when it was looking for food. If there was food on this side moving around like a mealworm, it wouldn't even see it. It had to be on that side, then it would turn and grab it. But this one is more likely to go into a shell with a slight tap, and that's because it is not as used to being handled. It's more of a newly caught animal, right?
Yeah,
So
that's why we
you can
call that
see-
one
there, look at
Winky.
that.
Oh,
Look
he's
at
always like, hi,
Yeah, Winky.
hi, I see you.
Look at that. You can see. There he is. There's the live one.
Oh, yeah, that's nice and tight. The back feet are still hanging out there, but
Yep, you bite those, that goes in too.
that's right.
All right. Really cool, that little hinge there.
Now,
Box
speaking of really cool, okay, and speaking of eastern box turtles, just like the heirloom ornament that's been passed down through generations, we actually have another eastern box turtle that is 100 years old. All right. Now, this is not a guesstimation. No, we didn't count 100 rings. That's not even a viable way
Right.
to tell their age. For a couple reasons, they can have multiple growth rings in a year.
turtle.
And if you look closely on this box turtle, they get smoothed out. They get rubbed down over time.
Yeah.
No way that you can use that to tell their age.
Right. Now, as you guys probably heard us mention, we do a traveling show, and occasionally we get a call from somebody saying, hey, we have a reptile, we can't take care of it. Will you guys rehome it, or will you guys use it in your show? Sometimes we take him in. And that's how this turtle right here came to us. Now, I named him Taft. And if you don't know this, because unless you're a history buff, I don't really know much about presidents from 1910. This turtle was caught by a gentleman. The earliest we can trace it back from the family who originally owned it was caught by a gentleman somewhere around 1910. He caught it on a farm here in Illinois, passed it along to his daughter. His daughter, who is now, I believe, in her 60s, passed it along to her son, and her son is the one that contacted me and asked us. He said that he could no longer take care of it, but this turtle was, from what I understand, an adult when they caught it. Now,
Yeah, and I think he was
they're
like,
that big. when
what,
they're had.
10 years old, 10 or 12 years old when he found it.
Yeah, the original owner.
And
found it.
the owner has since passed away.
Now these things are literally the size of, what would you say, walnut when they hatch, maybe a little smaller.
Sure, you know what a walnut is. Go with that.
Go with that. Golf ball, whatever you want to say. But it was caught as an adult, which tells me that this thing had to be at least, they grow pretty quick. They'll get about this size in 5 or 6 years. So let's just assume that it was at least, we'll go minimum 5 years old, right? This thing is at least 105 years old.
Right, which is amazing. And the coolest part about this, This turtle, super spry. Just like we said, we're gonna feed them in a minute, and we're gonna throw some super worms down. And I guarantee you, this 105-year-old turtle
Here,
not gonna be using a
food.
walker
I've
at
got
all.
food here.
It is gonna spring into action. There it goes, right there. Look at that thing.
Now, as
I
Jeremy
hope I
already
can
mentioned,
move like that when I'm 105.
no way, you barely move that way now.
That's true.
Anyway, all right. So we're not gonna feed it a bunch of different stuff. Like we said, they eat a lot of different types of foods. We're just gonna bring out mealworms because that movement of the mealworm kind of stimulates these things to go crazy over the food. So we're just
Or
gonna drop one
worms.
down. Yeah, super worms. What do I call them? Mealworms.
Yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter.
All right, let's see who gets it first. There, watch this
Oh,
guy.
Boxy's
There
feeling
we
it.
go.
I think
There we
Boxy's
go.
feeling it.
Oh yeah.
There we go, Boxy. Boxy,
Yep.
do your thing.
All
Taft is... Taft, what are you doing? That's not smart. Stay on the table. Oh, these two right here. Go over the same one.
All
Why
right,
did you
hold
give
on,
up?
hold on. No fighting. We got plenty of
Why'd you
worms
give
here.
up on the wing?
All right, I say we put these turtles up and we bring out some other hinged turtles that we can talk about. Totally different species.
All right, so we're back. Box turtles are away. We have two new species of turtle here. This is an African hingeback tortoise, and this is a mud turtle, aquatic, forest dwelling, but we still have hinges.
The thing looks like a moldy pineapple.
Yeah, it does look like a pineapple.
It does.
Or not a
It really
pine. I think more like
dried
a
out.
pine cone is when I see this thing, right?
I don't know, it just looks weird to me.
Don't worry, he's not insulting you.
All right, so let's talk about this guy first. This is one of the smallest turtles on the planet. It's called a three-striped mud turtle. So why doesn't it have stripes? Well, this is an older individual. When they're younger, they have three stripes, one in the middle, two along the side. As they get older and more mature, they kind of become a solid black color. But this is a very interesting turtle. It spends its days in the water, almost its whole life in the water, as a matter of fact, other than to come out to lay eggs. They can hold their breath for a ridiculous amount of time, sometimes up to 20 minutes, and that's because they oxygenate their bodies in a different way. They don't have to come up for air very often because they absorb oxygen through their tails and under the skin of the neck. That is awesome.
I'm laughing. You touched the turtle's tail. Like, ah!
Oh, did it go in?
Yeah.
Well, that's it.
Violation.
There's that hinge again. They have three hinges here. One in the back, one in the... Well, actually they have two hinges, but they have three segments to the shell here. And you can kind of see when I turn that, how they close bottom, top, completely head, legs, arms, tail, inside.
Yeah, and I love the mud turtles. Mud turtles, musk turtles, very similar species. Main difference though, the musk turtles do not have a hinge. Their plaster on the bottom of the shell is similar to that of a snapping turtle, if you've ever seen that. So just small, like a little girdle with a little turtle fat all hanging out. But these guys hinge, hence on this episode. Now, the tortoise species that I have, okay, this is a forest dwelling species. They're actually very shy, so that's why this one's not really coming out. I'm gonna stick him over here, maybe you can check him out. His name is Onyx. They have these really big black eyes because where they would live in the forest, typically they hang out in shaded areas under leaf litter, so not a lot of bright light. They need those big eyes to be able to see in that low light condition. Now their diet, it's actually very similar to that of the box turtles. Now this species is different than all the rest that we have today. We've been showing you the hinges on the bottom of all the turtles closing up. Does not happen with the African hingeback. The hingebacks, guess where their hinges? On their back. Yeah, it's the name hingeback. If you weren't paying attention. Now, so the hinge runs along the top of the carapace here, and they can actually push down and close that up. So the front, they just use the spikes on the legs to kind of protect their face.
Now, these turtles, when they're smaller, that is when they are vulnerable to predators. So if you notice all of these animals, now the box turtles had yellow and orange, that is the dabbled effect. That is the sunlight filtering through the leaves, hitting the ground, making that thing invisible.
Dabble.
There you go. This one lives on the bottom of muddy rivers, lakes. It's going to be dark. That guy forested, looks like the leaf litter. So all of these things are vulnerable when they're smaller. If they can get past those first few years and get at least to this size or bigger, that's when they're pretty much protected from any predator. But you know what the problem is? A lot of people over collect turtles and tortoises for the pet trade. and that causes problems with populations. Pollution and other things also would take their toll. Traffic, that's a big thing when they cross the roads. These things are slow.
All right, so that pretty much wraps it up. Get it? Wraps it up. Hope you enjoyed nature's perfect little package animal. One thing left to do. Gotta take that selfie.
All right, guys, thanks for tuning into this episode. We hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you guys hit like and subscribe. We are going to put out some new episodes coming up shortly. Tell them
Yeah,
what we got
definitely.
coming.
Hopefully, right after Christmas, we're kind of hinging this on bands. We actually did a music video coming up for a metal band, hardcore band, if you
Some
will.
snakes in the video. It
Yeah,
was really
a
awesome.
lot of snakes in the video. Just everywhere. There's just, I mean, it's like snakes on a plane and snakes on studio.
In the studio.
That's
A lot of
right.
behind the scenes
So
action.
yeah, it's gonna be a whole behind the scenes of how this video was made, what we did with the snakes. Just
to make it
super
happen,
cool. Yeah, it's awesome. Also, we're gonna have just more Costa Rica. We're gonna get some more Costa Rica videos coming out that we've made, footage. Just a lot of cool things happening that we're working on behind the scenes.
So guys, make sure you come back to get more nature in your face.